Welcome to another episode of the Divorce Lawyers podcast. I'm Deepa Taylor, and today we're going to delve into an essential topic that touches the lives of many going through a divorce: spousal support. Whether you're in the midst of a separation or just curious about how spousal support works, this episode will serve as your comprehensive guide. We'll cover everything from what spousal support is, who is entitled to it, how it's calculated, and much more. Remember, the information shared in this episode is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. For personalized guidance, please consult one of our lawyers by visiting DivorceLawyers.ca. Now, let's get started. To begin, what exactly is spousal support? In Ontario, spousal support, often referred to as alimony in other jurisdictions, is financial assistance that one spouse may be required to pay to the other after separation or divorce. The purpose of spousal support is to address any financial disparity that may arise due to the end of the marriage or common law relationship. Unlike child support, spousal support is not automatic. The first step is determining entitlement, which depends on several factors. These include the length of the marriage, the roles each spouse played during the relationship, and any economic advantages or disadvantages that resulted from the marriage. Now that we've defined spousal support, let's talk about who might be entitled to it. Determining entitlement is crucial in any spousal support claim. Many people mistakenly believe that spousal support is a given in every separation or divorce, but that's not the case. There are three main bases for entitlement. The first is compensatory entitlement, where support is awarded to compensate a spouse for sacrifices made during the marriage that affected their career or earning capacity. For instance, if one spouse stayed home to care for the children or supported the other spouse's career, they might be entitled to compensatory support. The second type is non-compensatory entitlement, often referred to as needs-based support. This arises when one spouse simply requires financial assistance to maintain a standard of living similar to what they had during the marriage. This type of support doesn't depend on whether one spouse made sacrifices for the other. Finally, there is contractual entitlement, which occurs when spousal support is specified in a pre-existing agreement, such as a marriage contract or separation agreement. In these cases, the court may enforce the terms of the agreement. Understanding entitlement is just the beginning. Once entitlement is established, the next step is determining how much support should be paid and for how long. Calculating spousal support can be complex, as it involves looking at a variety of factors, including income levels, the length of the marriage, and the roles each spouse played. In Canada, we refer to the Spousal Support Advisory Guidelines, or SSAGs, to help determine the appropriate amount and duration of support. However, these guidelines are advisory, not mandatory. Income is one of the most important factors in calculating spousal support. The SSAGs consider both spouses' incomes, typically using their last 3 years of tax returns to calculate an average. This method ensures that any significant fluctuations in income, such as bonuses or loss of employment, are fairly accounted for. Another major factor is the length of the marriage. Generally, the longer the marriage, the more likely it is that spousal support will be awarded for a longer period. For example, a marriage of 2 years might result in support for a year or two, whereas a marriage of 20 years could lead to indefinite support. The roles each spouse played during the marriage are also considered. If one spouse was the primary earner while the other stayed home to care for children, this could increase the likelihood of compensatory support being awarded. Children can also affect the calculation of spousal support, especially if one parent has primary custody. In such cases, the financial needs associated with caring for the children may lead to an increase in spousal support payments. While these factors guide the calculation of support, there are also considerations such as the tax implications of spousal support that can influence the final amount. One often overlooked aspect of spousal support is its tax treatment. In Canada, spousal support payments are typically tax-deductible for the payer and taxable income for the recipient. This can affect the amount of support awarded, as courts consider the after-tax income of both parties. Additionally, the courts emphasize the importance of self-sufficiency. Spousal support isn't intended to be a lifelong arrangement, and recipients are generally expected to become self-sufficient within a reasonable time frame. This could mean going back to school, obtaining additional training, or re-entering the workforce. The courts will often review progress towards self-sufficiency during periodic reviews of the support arrangement. So, what happens if circumstances change? Let's talk about variations and reviews of spousal support. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances can change after a spousal support order is in place. If there's a significant change in either spouse's situation, such as a job loss, a significant increase in income, or health issues, either party can request a review or variation of the support order. The courts will reassess the situation to determine if the support amount should be adjusted. In some cases, spousal support can end automatically. For example, it might terminate upon the recipient's remarriage or when the payor reaches retirement age, depending on the court's terms. Before we wrap up, I want to share some practical tips for both payors and recipients of spousal support. If you're paying spousal support, it's essential to keep detailed records of all payments made. This can protect you in case of any disputes down the line. Also, consider the potential impact on your finances and plan accordingly. For recipients of spousal support, it's important to be proactive about becoming self-sufficient. Use the support wisely, whether it's for retraining, education, or other means to secure your financial independence. Lastly, for both parties, it's always a good idea to seek professional legal advice. For personalized guidance, please consult one of our family lawyers by visiting DivorceLawyers.ca. Spousal support can be a complex area of family law, and having a lawyer to guide you through the process can help ensure your rights are protected and that the support arrangement is fair. Remember, each case is unique, and while this podcast provides general information, it's always best to consult with a legal professional for advice tailored to your specific circumstances. That brings us to the end of today's episode on spousal support. I hope you found this guide helpful in understanding the intricacies of spousal support and how it might apply to your situation. Thank you for joining me today on the Divorce Lawyers podcast. If you found this episode informative, please share it with your friends, family, or anyone who might benefit from it. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore more topics related to family and divorce law in Ontario. Until next time, take care and stay informed.